Hello. Okay, so I'm here live to address some of your biggest health concerns, biggest Candida related health concerns. Last week, I posted in the group. I reached out. I said, hey guys, please comment with your biggest concerns, and I want to address those directly. So that's what this video is about today. And I saw one of the biggest concerns is getting started. There is this fear of die off, right? We're looking in the group and people are sharing their stories, and we don't sugarcoat it. It's a real thing. Sometimes we feel worse before we get better. So that could be something that is preventing you from starting. So if that's you, if you've just been sitting on the fence kind of in this group, twiddling your thumbs, being like, I don't know if I want to start or not, I highly encourage you to go to our success stories, go to www.candidacleanser.com, go to success stories, and watch, spend the afternoon reading and watching how people's life completely transforms. Because a little bit discomfort of the die-off is so worth the life transformation. It's so worth it for that version of you that's on the other side of all this. So don't ever let fear hold you back from what it is that you want, that's what it is that you desire in your life. And Patty and I always joke about this fear is actually, it's not you. It could be the fact that there's this little Candida monster living in your gut, and that Candida is scared to die. It's not you that's scared of the die-off. It's the fungal infection that wants to stay alive in your body. So we joke about that because often when we have like pathogens in our gut, they do override our thoughts, our sugar cravings, our perception of reality, how we manage stress. Hey, Anne. Yeah, so they're actually filtering the way we perceive reality. And oftentimes we can identify with the thoughts that we have about life or about this process or about who we are or the nature of reality. But it's not true. A lot of that, the fear and the negative thought systems, the negative thoughts that go through your mind, those aren't your thoughts. They're not yours, especially if they're disempowering, fearful ones. And a really amazing teaching from, I don't know if you're familiar with Byron Katie, thoughts are just thoughts. They create suffering when you attach belief to them. So which thoughts in your mind make you feel good? Believe those. The ones that don't make you feel good, don't believe them. They're bullshit. A huge part of Candida and also healing, this healing journey is actually, how do I put this? It's like reconditioning your subconscious mind. Because while we've been sick, we've taken on these negative belief systems and we've identified with them, but they're just programs. They're not real. They're not true, and they can feel like they're true because they're running on repeat in your head all the time, and we begin to believe them, but it's not the truth. So what I've learned on this journey is once we heal, we get Candida out of our gut, which can be also a representation of the subconscious mind. Once we get Candida out of the gut, the pathogens out of there, your perception of reality changes. You're more optimistic. You can view challenges as opportunities. You can face irritating situations with more patience and compassion and kindness. It's incredible what happens to your mind. Your mind becomes liberated once you get rid of the gut pathogens, and it's something that's difficult to explain, but you'll see it time and time and again in the testimonials of people having these radical life transformations. Physical symptoms go away, but that's like the tip of the iceberg. So much more benefit happens, so much more benefit. Physical benefits are great, but the liberation of the mind, that is something that's unfathomable at the beginning of the stages when you are consumed in pain and in fear and in worry and in anxiety. So know that what's waiting on for you on the other side is worth it. And And the mind, your thoughts, your fears are always much worse than reality. You'll go through the cleanse, you'll go through die off and be like, hey, actually this is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I bet you'll be surprised. So just equip yourself with the proper die off and detox tools. So, and if you've been waiting 2 years, I hope you've been on an anti-candida diet, drinking lots of bone broth, taking probiotics, taking your liver supplements, liver supports, preparing your body and your immune system and your detox pathways for the cleanse, because it's more than just popping back a pill. It's a huge lifestyle change. So what you can do to prepare is to put in those lifestyle changes before the cleanse, and it'll make the die off so much easier, right? And during the die off phase, this is the time where we are encouraged to practice radical self-care, radical self-love and acceptance, radical patience for yourself and your journey, remembering to not compare yourself to other people. It's going to take as long for you to recover, as long as it's going to take for you. So don't compare. It's gonna be different for you. Just have faith, trust the process, trust your body, trust that what's showing up for you, even if it's the uncomfortable, painful symptoms of flu-like symptoms or joint pains or brain fog. Know that it's your body doing the best that it can, given the certain circumstances, and trust your body. This is another lesson of trusting the body, being patient with yourself, having love and compassion. So Anne says, I feel awful taking anything, so I do nothing but suffer. Exactly. So you're, in a sense, creating your own suffering by doing nothing. And sometimes, we have this dark night of the soul. Things have to get really bad for us to finally decide to take a stand, to make a change. And I've been there too, dark night of the soul. I had to hit rock bottom for me to crack and break and say, okay, I'm finally ready. So my question for you, Anne, is what will it take for you to finally be ready? How much more suffering and pain can you handle? And I promise you, the die-off is it might not even be as bad as you think it is. So just prepare yourself, for all of you who are considering, prepare yourself with the proper die-off supports like activated charcoal, zeolite clay, liver supports. Right now, actually, there's a clearance sale happening. So when you grab the Candida Cleanser Kit, you get a free liver support for free. It's like I mentioned, the liver support is so crucial to not successful, but an easier Candida cleanse, because what's happening when you have Candida in your body, it's constantly releasing I don't say thousands, hundreds of toxins into your body. It's like being hooked up to an IV drip of poisons. And these toxins, there's two that are really, really strong. One will actually target the immune cells. So this is why we're sick all the time and we get co-infections. So that's one of the questions from Marilyn, was struggling with co-infections. So we have to strengthen the immune system. When we have Candida in the gut, it's releasing gliotoxin, it's attacking the healthy immune cells. So of course we're going to be susceptible to different bacterial infections, to different viral infections, to different parasite infections. So number one thing is get rid of Candida so that toxin is no longer in your body, and then do the necessary protocols to get rid of the co-infections. So this is why we have the SIBO cleanse, which is now the herbal home pharmacy kit, because we found that it works against small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, but it also works against H. pylori. It also works against viral infections, yeasts, fungus. So it's really, really great to target those co-infections that are often hiding in a Candida infection, because they have more subtle symptoms. The testing isn't as accurate. The medical system doesn't really know about them or what to do with them. So that's why the home pharmacy kit is there to help you attack those co-infections that naturally come with Candida, because we have such a poor immune system when that fungal infection's been growing in our body. And another one of those toxins is acetaldehyde, and this is a neurotoxin. It builds up in the tissues of our body and in our joints. So oftentimes like joint pain, arthritis, fibromyalgia, like pain, like just unexplained pain, can be connected to Candida because it's this acetaldehyde building in the tissues, and it's really taxing on the body to detox. It eats up a lot of our glutathione levels, if you're familiar with that. So we become really depleted in glutathione, so we can't detox the body. So there's more toxins floating around in our system. So there's more pain, there's more inflammation, there's more fogginess. But what ends up happening when you support the liver with something like the liver support that you get for free when you get your cleanse this week, it's going to help to regenerate your healthy liver cells. It's going to help you boost your glutathione levels. It's going to help you empower you and your body to help detox Candida and all the toxins that it's excreting. So, and if you're watching, one thing to do is like, please get on liver supports. At least help your liver regenerate, help with scooping up the toxins, to bring down inflammation in the body. So these are really key things you can start doing to prepare for the cleanse. Liver support, immune support. Sometimes you can even do the herbal home pharmacy kit first to get at those co-infections as well. So sometimes you can ease into it, right? And so the next question was, maintaining the healthy diet. So maintaining the diet long after the protocol is done. So if you're new to this Candida diet, the Candida cleanser, at first taking on these new dietary protocols, it may feel really restricting. Might be really difficult and hard at first because it goes completely against how you've been eating for a really, really long time. So there's a few things that are happening. First of all, Candida is heavily influencing your cravings. The foods that you think you like, they're not even the foods that you actually like. It's, again, those microbes in your gut influencing your taste palette. When you get Candida, fungus, parasites out of your gut, your taste palette changes. The foods you crave change. So you can sit next to a bowl of chocolate chip cookies and go, that's fine. There's actually a bowl of chocolate chip cookies right now. One of my housemates bought them from Costco, and they're, the wheat, the gluten, the sugar, and me a few years ago, I'd look at that and be like, oh my God, I need the cookies. Oh my God, I need the cookies. And just like have a nibble, and next thing you know, I'd eat like half the box, right? I know if you could probably relate to me. This is very, very common. Candida just hijacks your brain, especially at the dinner table. If you'd go to a fancy restaurant and they serve bread, right? As soon as they do that, it's like, oh my God, I want the bread. And that's totally normal because so much is happening. The fungal infection has taken over your taste buds and your cravings. So you're fighting that. You're also fighting a really real chemical addiction, right? Sugar is so addictive. Bread, the gluten actually breaks down to stimulate opiate receptors in your brain. So you are, in fact, very similarly addicted to bread, wheat, as a cocaine addict or a heroin addict is to heroin. It's very similar neural pathways in the brain. So give yourself a break. Give yourself a break if you fall off the wagon and you cheat, because you're up against some really big, I want to say enemies. You're up against something really big. Pathogens in your gut, chemical addiction, but also habitual ways of being. When we repeat an action over and over and over again, those neural pathways, those neurons that wire together, they create ways of being that are like solidified in your mind. It becomes unconscious, right? So you're working to break a deeply ingrained conditioning program, basically a deep program in the mind. So you're doing really big work by consciously choosing to eat in a different way. And it's going to be hard. There's going to be resistance. You're going to fall off the wagon and you're going to recommit, but just know it's all okay. And this is where that radical self-love and some compassion and patience come in, because this journey it's like a cha-cha. One step forward, two steps back. One step forward, two steps back. It took me like 5 years probably before my diet became super clean. And sometimes in the beginning stage, it feels like you're fighting an internal battle, because you are. I'm going to be honest. You are. You're fighting against your subconscious programming, your conditioning, which you've put in place over the however long you've been alive, right? You're battling with chemical addictions, physical pathogens, and potentially some childhood trauma. A lot of times we turn to food to cope for suppressed, repressed emotions. So when we are no longer allowed, when we choose to remove foods that we've been using to pacify ourselves, those emotions might come up. So die-off can be quite emotional because we are no longer pacifying things that we didn't want to feel. Now all these feelings are coming up. We're detoxing, which is adding to more feelings. This is an incredible, I want to call it a spiritual journey. It is. It's reclaiming your physical health. It's reclaiming your sovereignty. It's creating, and it's working to create a new way of being with your free will. It's coming out of the shell of the past, and there's gonna be growing pains. Right? And that's why we have this group here for you, to support you through it, because other people who have Candida, who've never done this journey, they don't understand, and that's okay. That's why myself are here. That's why I'm here. That's why Patty's here. That's why the group is here, because the journey that you're on, it's I don't want to call it the warrior's journey, but it's big. You're working to create someone new. And so this is why, don't let fear hold you back, because you are so deserving a life that feels good, a life that is pain-free, symptom-free. And so what happens on the other side, from maintaining this diet, there's no more, when like the fungus is gone, the parasites are gone, you're not maintaining anymore. It just is. You've created a new program, a new way of being that is effortless to maintain. It's like when you're first driving a car, when you're learning to drive a car. At first it's really difficult, right? There's so much to be aware of, like, wow, the steering wheel, how do I drive? And oh my God, there's cars on the other side, and okay, I gotta look in my rear view. And if you're driving stick, you're like, oh my gosh, there's how many pedals, right? It's so much. You have to maintain focus all the time. But over the years, that habit becomes ingrained into your subconscious. Now you can probably drive down the street. You shouldn't be texting or on the phone, but you're probably on the phone. You're switching the dial to get your station. You're singing, right? You're reaching back to maybe grab something out of your bag, and you're not even thinking about driving, right? It's not even. Sometimes you can drive from point A to point B and forget that you were even driving. You didn't even realize you were on the road. This is how the subconscious gets programmed. Something goes from conscious effort to unconscious effort. And so at first, with these new ways of eating, it's going to be conscious effort. But over time, it's going to go into the subconscious, and it's going to just be effortless. Plus, your taste palette will change because those rotten bugs aren't in your digestive system anymore, in your gut anymore. And sorry, lost my train of thought because I got a little message here. So you're gonna have broken those chemical patterns in your brain, and it's just gonna feel good. You're gonna be naturally attracted to foods that make you feel good. You're gonna be attuned with your body. You're gonna trust your body. So instantly, if you have something and you don't feel good, it's like, oh no, why would I eat that? It doesn't make me feel good. It feels so much better to feel good. And it's so worth it. So I highly encourage you to use this resource, use us as best you can. Ask these questions. These are all really excellent questions of how to get started, just the fear of die-off, and how do you maintain this. And it really comes down to it's something that can't quite be fully understood until you get to the other side. And so, like I mentioned before, watch as many of the success stories as possible to show yourself, to prove to yourself that, hey, transformation is possible. It's so worth it. There's like such an incredible person on the other side, incredible life on the other side that awaits you. That is worth it. I just did an interview with Todd, actually, one of the members of the group, last week. I don't know if you saw his interview, and he was saying just that. He's like, I went from zero quality to life to this incredible quality of life, and it's worth it. The die-off is so worth it, and we make it up to be so much worse than it actually is. So fear is holding you back. That's just a thought. Don't entertain it. Choose to believe thoughts that make you feel good. So if it's scary, you can come into this situation saying, you know what? It may be challenging, but it's so worth it. I'm so worth it. I'm open to challenges. Challenges are exciting. Something like that. Again, we're putting in new, more empowering programs into the subconscious when we speak. And that's something I highly encourage you to do as well on this journey, is watch how you speak to yourself. Choose to speak compassionate, kind, uplifting words to yourself, sentences, thoughts. That's another part of this journey, is to, like I mentioned, reclaiming the mind, reclaiming sovereignty of your mind. So I think that's everything for today. I hope you've found the inspiration, the motivation to get started or to keep going. If things have been a little bit rough, know that it's all okay. It's all part of the process, to have patience, compassion, and radical devotion to you and your transformation and your life, because it's so worth it. You're so worth it. So feel free to comment below with some more questions, and I'll write them down and address them in the next video and then the next live. And then in the meantime, I did mention that there's a clearance sale, so make sure I'll post the link below so you can check out the packages. Everything that you buy this week comes with a free liver support. Yay! So I'm really excited for this clearance sale, because we're trying to get rid of as much stock as possible, because we're introducing new labels. I've been working so hard to get labels that match, and they're about to be launched. So this is why we're having this clearance sale, to bring in the new face, the new look of Candida Cleanser. So that's everything for today. Thank you so much for joining. Ciao.